is, I want to say, is it Miracle Sivir? Did you catch the list?
I think we just caught the tail end of the Ezreal list there, and I think it will be an interesting site to kind of discover this Sivir list as we are being introduced to it and the match develops.
Okay, thankfully I did. I got the screenshot, and yes, it is Miracle Sivir. So it's gonna be like the triple Ezreal. So this one is playing the Nocturnes. I don't know if you've seen too much of that, but very explosive stuff. It's a very spooky deck to play against. Have you actually played against any of the Miracle decks yet in any sort of testing?
I mean, in the environment, you can tell that the Miracle decks, from personal experience, really feel like that feast or famine atmosphere to it. To where I am kind of wondering, whereas like when you do manage to get like 10 wins in a row, how much of that was piloting, how much of that is just RNG?
I mean, I can say I've tested the Miracle decks a fair bit, and it is a very difficult deck to pilot, but you have a lot of options, and I think that's one of the best things about this Fizz card, is that it gives you a toolbox of half the spells in your deck off of a single unit. So it gives a lot of decision points as a player. And I think that as a player, that's something I like to see, because I am not kind of stuck in the situation where I only have a couple options and, well, maybe they just have the outs. So instead, I am able to. I'm in the driver's seat. How about that? Is it? I think that's the better way of saying it, and I think that's why some of these top players do tend to gravitate towards some of these miracle lists, because you are the one who gets to make the decisions. You get to be in the driver's seat. It feels like you're in control of your own destiny.
Yeah, and I think when you are looking for a deck that suits you in a way where the sky is truly the limit, you only have to go back a single round. You see what Alan can pull off, where it really shows you what lays ahead in the universe when everything you can afford is laid out right in front of you. So coming into these matchups, I think you're really looking to hit that critical mass as soon as you can.
Yeah, and so what's actually interesting is he is up against this ramp Ezreal deck that we did see actually in the last Runes and Ref. Though it does look like he has decided not to include the Malzahar, as that was one of the cooler little texts that we did see, but still opting to play the Treasure Trove, still opting to play the Pack of Wonders. I'm a huge fan of the Pack of Wonders card. I think it's one of the coolest cards from set 1, and it's really cool to actually see it getting played now outside of that MF Aurora deck. Did you have much experience with it at all?
I don't think I've personally played against a RAM package before, but we've seen the swath of options that are laid at your feet when you only have to look at, let's say, the Fiora deck, right? Another deck that really can ramp up really quickly, and it's really only restricted by the amount of cards you can hold on to. So I think when you're sketching out the picture here, the sky is truly the limit, and you can describe it either as a race to the bottom that we're in right now, or a race to the top.
Yeah, and we do have a peek of the Sivir hand. It does have double Ezreal, which is quite a bit of gas. And Sivir is kind of in the driver's seat here. You do need to put on this early pressure. Otherwise, the Mind Splitters start coming down, as we saw in the Runes and Rift tournament. Lots and lots of hand rips. And hand rips, I mean, pretty good against a deck that's trying to make these big combos, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is a scramble to find all these puzzle pieces, not only for your engine itself, but also for the situation and what it demands from you. And it's a tight line that comes down into deck building itself, where you have to prioritize. All right, how much do I want to invest in getting my own engine running? And how much do I want to invest into being able to interact with the situation that's laid out in front of me? And I think that is such a thin line that Ezreal can walk really, really well when it has access to all of that interaction. However, when you need to get your engine going, that interaction feels like maybe hitting a bit of a dud in the moment. Meanwhile, later on, if you got your engine going and you grab more engine pieces, they kind of feel like that. So it's a real tightrope to be walking.
Well, choosing the cycle here with the Stupefy, we are not at the magical 7 rune breakpoint yet for the Mind Splitters, so still just trying to ramp it up and get to that board state where you can start doing that. The Stupefy into a Wages, allowing a draw off the Ezreal leader, and now does actually have the Treasure Trove too, so we are going to start hitting. Did you see if there was a Mind Splitter in his hand? Okay, so there's not. His hand is actually pretty dead. I think there's a cold shot at least, maybe? I didn't quite see.
Yeah, and a cold shot can quickly domino into a whole lot more. Now, when I do see a lot of seals being played, I am always very thankful when it is being answered in kind on the other side. No real runaways just yet, except for maybe a bit of concentration of the Chaos Runes on our left side here. So that is something to be a little bit worried about, as information is being spat over left and right, and no lunges being made just yet. We're still in that developing phase of the game, still getting a lay of the land before any real exits are made or any real risks are being taken so early on in the game.
Yeah, that was a really impactful sabotage that ripped the cold shot out of the Ezreal hand, and now the only thing remaining in the only like real remaining play besides top decks is if he can rip into the so you do have a draw off the Treasure Trove either with acceptable losses or its own ability, and then the pack, so you can go like play treasure. Oh, okay, this is the Sivir. I was like, oh, did he just draw the? Okay, no. But no, so you can go play Treasure Trove into the Pack of Wonders, bounce it. That's 4 runes, and then you can play the Treasure Trove again for 5 runes, or sorry, to 6 runes, and then you can play acceptable losses to kill it. So there are like, you can see multiple cards, but you're pretty much locked out of playing the game next turn unless you top deck something, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think that is the exact kind of thing that is valued so highly the higher you get into the skill curve as well.
Hmm?
Not only being able to take away some of these essential cards, but especially when you're playing that miracle deck, it can feel like you're playing dominoes in a way, where you only need to topple a single stone, but if everything is spaced out just right, the hits just keep on coming. But taking out a single piece can leave you like deep into the mud, bubbling up to your lips.
So it does see the triple seals off the top. Not quite what you want, but this does still mean that he can get a couple draws here. I can't. Okay, so Bellows still no splitters. Unfortunate. No splitters, no singularities, no watchers. Still has managed to dodge all of his top end.
Dodging his top end now, also starting to hit his digging ability as well. And that is an unfortunate circumstance to be in, especially when there's already so many bodies. Well, so many. A handful of bodies are already facing you on the other side of the field. So this can turn dire rather quickly if they keep up the tempo. Already up 2 points, and they can expand on that by the second.
Yeah, thankfully, Sivir started this game pretty slow. I mean, only on 2 points here, and Ezreal was very ramped up. Did finally see a Watcher, so there is top end available. At this point, quite obviously can't play it, but I don't think you really care here. I think, honestly, I'm kind of sitting pretty if I'm Ezreal here. Like, there's not too much scary on the board for Sivir here. Still hasn't gone for that big miracle combo turn, and I mean, pretty ramped up here. Pretty much can play whatever he wants. Is he? Yeah, one rune left in deck. So we'll be on 12 runes next turn.
And that is the power of that ramping coming through. Now,
Yep.
he is a little poorer when it comes to the cards in hand, right? Just the 3 between parentheses. However, when you are playing Ezreal, that is merely just a suggestion, as we see on the other side as well, where the hits keep on chaining together, making those synergies in the deck really pop off in a big big way. However, just to kind of set expectations in the right way, we are really looking at this fencing style, right? Where we are building up, we are feeling each other out, and then in blink twice and a flurry of strikes can come through, and only the sound of the buzzer will tell us who will be coming out on top. But as of right now, 4 points in the lead is comfortable. That gives you that margin of error. You can be a bit more risky knowing you can recover.
Yeah, I'm surprised he just put a Rasa to the bottom of his deck, to be honest. I don't know the rest of the hand, as we've only gotten peeks of it, and it's every so often, but okay, we can see it. So I see a called shot, a confront. We know he just took a switcheroo. I mean, the rights is pretty good. This is the turn I would expect Ezreal to start actually interacting with the board. So we know the Watcher
Coming
still
flying.
does have access to a couple draws. I think he just drew a Singularity. Is that correct? It looks like it cost 6.
It's real short. It's real swift that you get a look at these cards. But now the Battle's Breath coming through, and well, the opening shots are being taken, and you know what that means when there is that Watcher laying in wait.
Yep, this is going to be a Watcher and clear everything. So pretty... Watcher, Bellows, pretty powerful combo here. It looks like he's out deciding if he wants the Accelerator or not and choosing not to accelerate it. Doesn't really need to here, as this does board wipe the Sivir, as they all took 1 damage on them, reduced their mites by 3, and they're all dead, which, I mean, that really hurts. Your board's totally gone.
I mean, it's absolute devastation to have the Watcher and Battle's Breath, and all of your units are in that threat range of either 3 or 4 might or less. And this Sivir does not have the economy to build back up as swiftly as this Ezreal can, even though sitting on the 2 seals and having some equipment ready. This is such a major blow. It's 2 cards getting rid of, I think it was like either 3 or even 4. So a major, major back-breaking blow coming in from Ezreal. And I will say, even though you are ahead at the moment, 4 points, that can start to evaporate really quick if you are not careful and recover swiftly.
Yeah, and we do know Ezreal still has a Singularity in the board, or in hand, so it would take a lot for Sivir to be able to like maintain board presence here. We still haven't seen the big miracle turn where we're playing out a bunch of Rasas and really accelerating and forcing a lot from the opponent. I think there's just 1 Rasa in hand. I see a Nocturne. Does play the confront here, so maybe looking to actually start pushing towards the 6 points and say, all right, this is the point where you have to stop me, or I'm gonna threaten lethal. Ooh, okay, finally sees a Fizz. That's good. Fizz Nocturne actually crazy hit.
That is double trouble from Sivir coming through, and we see Sivir showing some signs of life, some sparks, ready to ignite a whole deck if you are not careful. However, there is currently a bit of a lack of bodies when you're looking at Kubakulp, our Ezreal pilot. Yeah, you are in a very control-heavy situation right now, where you can lean on your opponent and kind of put pressure on them. However, you do need that backup. You do need that support, and it needs to come in rather quick.
Yeah, so now it does look like we may be going for a big turn. There's another Sabotage. This is going to rip the Singularity, which is pretty good here. Do you know if there's a called shot in the Ezreal discard? I have not, they have not shown it for a bit, but if there is a called shot in the discard, the Fizz does
it's an
see a
Ezreal
lot
deck.
of cards.
There has to be, right? At this point, there has to be.
You'd hope, right? You'd hope.
Yeah, one can dream. But these Sabotages, once again, being absolutely detrimental to Sivir, maintaining her pacing in this match, and putting some sort of resistance, some sort of spike into the wheels of Kubakulp, who is once again only sitting on 3 cards.
Yeah, so this is cool. Now we are attaching the rights to the Nocturne, and that this is going to be able to conquer. And when you do conquer with the rights on the Nocturne, under the Sabotage, it's coming out active. So you're just playing an Accelerate from your discard. So pretty cool sequence here is going to be able to double conquer. See what he chooses to play.
And when you are double conquering and you manage to put yourself on that potentially game-winning 6 points, those game-threatening 6 points, that is the moment where a single misstep can cost you the game, especially if Ezreal does commit to another big turn that leaves him entirely tapped out on the energy department, is when you should start to be worried. And I do believe that is the discard. No, that's on hand. There's yet another Sabotage available. Not even deciding to commit that right now, but just the opportunity to check in on that hand, make sure there are no traps ahead of us, is incredibly valuable.
Yeah, well, he did Sabotage early in the turn, right? So he just knows the hand and just decided that there was nothing worth sabotaging. I mean, the most important thing there is the Fizz, which you can't really do anything about. Actually, the hand is looking pretty dead here. I'm curious if he does opt to start looping the treasure troves a little bit to try and actually see like that splitter that we were talking about.
Yeah, what options does he have to his disposal at this point, right? He is facing down the barrel of a 6-point Sivir while being on no points whatsoever himself. He really has to start ramping up and start finding these hits and immediately fire them off as well, because if you keep him in hand, Sivir will punish that with that 3rd Sabotage.
Yeah, and he is forced to actually play the board here, right? There is 6 points on the board, both battlefields, and it looks like he just scoops it up. Wow, that was kind of crazy there at the end. I mean, when the Ezreal deck doesn't see its top end, in this case, he saw a single Singularity, a single Watcher, and that was it. 0 Mind Splitters? Like, that's rough.
Yeah, and that is rough. However, just to give credit to our Sivir pilot over here, the usage of Sabotage to make sure that there are less and less tools available to be digging down, to be seeing more cards, and eventually hit that top end really can put a bit of a stranglehold on those Ezreal decks that, when they are firing on all cylinders, seem insurmountable. However, if you can take away the oxygen out of that engine, it is just a big wet block of metal.
And so looking at the sideboard there are triple Unyielding Spirit, and that's a card I'm actually going to like into this. As you saw how impactful the Bellows and the Singularity were that last game. Well, the Singularity would have been impactful if it hadn't gotten ripped from the hand by Sabotage. So definitely can attest to the Spirit's going to be a potential good side card. Have they showed the Ezreal side deck yet? Oh, there we go.
They are doing so right now. And when you're peering through that, what is your number one priority, and what do you want to get right? Is there even something you want to change, or is it just poor luck that we didn't see the cards we wanted to see?
I think it's just poor luck, to be honest. Like, he drew a lot of cards, right, with the packs, or the packs and the troves being looped. Managed to not hit any called shots. I think the reason he scooped is he didn't even have like a called shot to repeat with the Fizz. So, I mean, sometimes it is a card game. Sometimes you get unlucky. You just got to kind of accept it, and you can't let it tilt you. And you just push forward and say, I am going forward with my game plan. Game 2 is going to go better.
Yeah, but this gives so much breathing room to the Sivir player, who essentially gets to play a freebie here. Now, both of these decks are not as concerned with going second or first as some more of the more aggro decks that we have seen earlier throughout the year. However, its advantage cannot be understated, and having the ace up your sleeve, knowing that you get to decide who gets to go first in that potentially all-deciding 3rd game, brings you peace of mind that can make you play even more risky, even more calm and collected in this 2nd match. So it is really up to Kubacul to now show he can stop this snowball from getting out of control.
All right, so exciting information. My friend Marcus from my testing group has won his last round, so he is X2 after the event, which looking like, unless there's like a bunch of weird IDing and such, it looks like he should top. So very exciting stuff from my testing group.
That is
But
exciting. And, well, I
Mhm.
mean, we are playing Swiss, right? So strength of schedule will be taken into account for tie breaks.
I think so.
Yeah, that is that sometimes definitely it kind of feels like democracy. It feels like, yeah, it's not great, but all the alternatives, yeah, also not great.
For sure,
And
for
at the
sure.
end of the
So,
day, all we can do is focus on the game right in front of
mhm.
us and try our very best. And that's exactly what we see transpire right in front of us, as both of these players are aiming to make it through the top cut, but they both need a victory.
Yeah, so this is a way better start for Ezreal than the last game. We see a stack deck, we see the Ezreal, we see Seals. I saw a couple called shots in hand. Yeah, okay, way better start for Ezreal this game. Hopefully we do get to see more of a real game. It is on the Obelisk and the Vilemaw. It looks like it's probably Ezreal on the Vilemaw. I can't imagine Sivir would be on Vilemaw, though it does play Nocturnes and stuff, which would be interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely the
Um,
Ezreal. You can see
yeah.
under their,
Oh,
their portrait
yep.
which battlefield they are fielding, and
It-
man, they are. You can already tell that Kubakulp is playing so
Mhm,
much more without tension, so much more relaxed. You can see it in his player cam that his
mhm.
shoulders are like a feet lower, and he is just going through the motions right now. And that is so important, especially after you played such a long day one, and you're trying to go the distance in day two. You cannot have that wear on you when it matters most.
Yep, absolutely. You got to keep a strong mental state. It can be hard over these really long tournaments, right? Like you play, what is this, round 13, I think?
It's exhausting.
Like 13 rounds? Like that's a lot of games. That's a lot of games. And you have to keep you got to keep a good mental state through this whole time. Can't let yourself get tilted. It's
And,
hard. It's definitely hard.
and to add on to that, the environment around you, it's a it's a big hangar buzzing with people.
You
So many noises, so many impulses that you're going to have to manage. It's a different environment. You're not at home. You are out of your comfort zone. But for some players, being out of their comfort zone is their comfort zone.
know. I mean, it's definitely like some players thrive in the limelight. They love getting all the attention. I'm sure not around these guys because they're on the feature match, but if you are on the floor, I'm sure right around the top tables, there's just crowds of people watching all the games, which is like it's a really crazy experience. I don't know if you've ever been there. I don't know how much you actually play card games, but like when you do get on those top
Frequent.
tables right at the end of the tournament, it feels like so. At least for me, it feels ecstatic. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is like the big moment. So it's so exciting.
Yeah, I mean, the other side of that as well is all those people chatting about, right? And they're
Hmm.
talking about your game, and you kind of have to zone that out. You have to
Hmm.
focus on what you are doing, what is happening right in front of you. And just to compare the game stage right now, look how much healthier this Ezreal board is looking, as he is getting sabotaged, which might prove rather painful. But there's definitely redundancy with the double stupefy and the fizz in there.
Yeah, it
Oh,
looks
and a
like
card.
Optin. It was
Ooh,
a
I
called
didn't
shot, I
see which
think.
one I actually selected.
I think it was a called shot. Because I remember two at the opening hand. I think only one has been played.
Uh, and I think that is really what you have to zone in. And
Hmm.
no veggies has really clocked that. It was like, all right, to take away any breathing room for this Ezreal, you have to attack the cards that give him more information, that let him see more of his deck, find more pieces, and keep this engine going. So getting rid of the cold shock is definitely the way to go on this one.
Yeah, I wonder if he drew a wages with the way he just drops the stupefy immediately, but it looks like no. Oh, there's an arcane shift, but no units to cast it on. Unfortunately, did you see what the card in the far left was?
In
Um,
hand,
yeah.
I saw it
Okay.
was a
Well,
3 cost, but it didn't look like wages.
Oh,
And
there's
he's
wages in the discard. That makes this easy.
yeah, gets the job done anyway. And that is kind of the power of this Ezreal as well. There is so much redundancy. There are so many
Mhm.
backup plans for yourself to cling onto when things are not going your way. So the game that we saw in our first match did really feel like an outlier.
I do like this Ezreal list a lot. If I don't know if you did actually see the full list, but not many one ofs. It's like a lot of 2 and 3 ofs. So it's very streamlined in that
And
it
that is a
feels like
shift
you're going
we've
to
been
see all the
seeing.
pieces, right?
It's a shift we've been seeing over the last few weeks, even in China as well. At the start of Riftbound's birth, I'm going to say that at the start of Origins, halfway through, it was all about that early game, all about going first and making sure you do not let someone stabilize throughout that early game. But as we see more and more miracle decks pop up and control matchups taking over, the early game, despite giving you more leniency in slowing down and recuperating some of that gas, it is no longer as important. And especially when you're playing these decks that are trying to chain together these activations, chain together these cards, and keep the engine going, it is all about that. And the world around you kind of melts away.
So next turn will be a big turn for the Ezreal if he does find the Mind Splitter off the top. I mean, no Mind Splitters played yet across either game yet, and that is kind of an integral piece to this Ezreal deck. Is you want to be playing the Mind Splitters, bouncing them with Pack, recasting them with Arcane Shift,
And
but still has not seen one.
what worries me once again is look how pressured this economy of the Sivir is. Only a single seal, and the
Yep.
rune reserves are absolutely devastated, groaning under the power costs that the cards carry. And now, especially with the arcane shifts coming through, it's going to be hurting once again if that fizz gets to go off.
So it looks like there was a unyielding spirit played there. It's off camera, but trying to avoid the damage on the Nocturne, as he does know that the Ezreal has a Stupefy in hand. So heads up play there, remembering what is in the hand. This is recasting the Fizz. I didn't see what he copied with the Fizz. Did you catch that? Or it looks like he's still deciding, maybe?
Yeah, it is. I can tell you, it is the Stupefy. So yeah, we'll be getting that through, and we saw how many cards on hand this Ezreal has, and there is this point, especially when the Watcher is coming into view as well. It almost starting to feel a bit inevitable, the doom that Ezreal can bring onto these battlefields, and putting even
Pickpocket.
more strain onto the economy by getting rid of the seal.
Yeah, Pickpocket's a cool tech, pretty high value card. It is going to kill the seal for free, and you get a gold token. So very, very cool tech there. I do like that a lot.
Yeah, and we saw it in the sideboard. And, when you do face a matchup that's quite dependent on those pieces getting on the board
Mhm.
and sticking there, you can just field them in quite fine. You can even play them on turn one and kind of push your opponent back on their butt while developing with a body yourself.
All right. Ooh, is that an invert timelines I see in hand? Ezra has a huge hand. I mean, hitting him with invert would feel really good here.
That would be that would be kind of your emergency hatch, I feel like.
Yeah, that would be kind of crazy. Okay, opting to hide. Is that hiding a card? It looks like. And there's the invert. Oh, this is gonna be brutal for
Boy.
Ezreal here.
And oh,
Oh
you can
my
tell that there's
gosh.
some frustration going on right now. A big sigh as well, as he has been hitting a lot of powerful cards and seeing even more. The fact that he's still sitting on a single point is really hurting now.
Mhm.
All of that work undone, but does have the economy behind him. He, however, doesn't have the cards anymore. So really limited in his options right now.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he drew. Hopefully he did draw some top end off of this invert, because it would be quite tragic.
Take a look. There's a
No.
fizz in there. That'll be powerful and some more digging potential. However, not those mind splitters that you want to be seeing, not those watchers that can really swing an entire game back in your favor.
Ooh, that's a good one. Does hit it and does get rid of the hidden card. Oh
Ooh, and
wait,
there's
no,
the
there
mind
is a
splitter.
mind splitter. Yeah.
Doesn't have the power, the runes for it, the energy currently. But I mean, just look at what Sivir can do in a single turn. It is so limited.
Yeah, we haven't seen the miracle turn yet. That being said, it's got to feel rough with no seals, because seals are the way that you get to keep cheating your power cost. There is still a single gold token, but a single gold token is only going to go so far, especially when it is able to bounce the pickpocket there. So, I mean, that's been pretty high value there, killing a seals and now going to threaten to kill another gold token if Sivir does generate one. And Sivir does pretty consistently generate one every turn, or just kill the seals. I mean, that's pretty good too.
You'll definitely take that as well, is
Mhm.
getting rid of yet another card in an already quite barren hand
Mhm.
really puts the pressure on your opponent,
Ooh,
where they
that's a
either have
nocturne.
to sit down and take it, or they're going to have to risk it all. And that is really the way you want to be going right now. And you can immediately tell that with how little Sivir can get done, Ezreal's catching up once again. Only a single point between them right now.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty scary on the next turn, as we know there's a mind splitter coming down, and we also know that there's a pickpocket. So on the next turn, there is going to be a hand rip, and we're going to be killing the seals. So continually pressuring the follow up that Sivir has. Not just the board presence, but also the hand. I mean, this is like the scary part of the Ezreal deck, is once it gets going, there's not a lot you can do just because it keeps ripping cards from you. And you could even go like play pickpocket, bounce, play pickpocket. You could kill both the gold token and the seal if you wanted to, if you're not feeling pressured by the board state. Um,
No, and it's like you said, like when you have so many cards on hand and you
mhm.
have deck built well and you've sideboarded well, especially in game 2, you are like a scout, like a proper boy scout. You are prepared. You are ready. You are that Swiss Army knife that can deal with most situations if prepared properly. And the only thing that kind of is the price of that is the fact that, well, you have to draw the right enters at the right time. But when you're drawing half your deck, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be hitting the cards that you need.
Yep, and it absolutely has hit the cards you needed this game. That pickpocket, I believe it was sideboarded. I don't think I saw it in the main deck list.
Yeah,
I
no, there was
mean,
in his sideboard. I think it had 2.
it's a crazy high impact sideboard card this game. I think it's killed a couple seals already. Maybe even
Yeah,
a gold token.
yeah. I think especially when you can confirm that your opponent is playing it, right? Otherwise, it's
Hmm.
definitely not the value you want to be getting for yourself.
Hmm.
But when it hits hard, and the Ezreal is drowning in cards, even in in a situation where he can't really get it off the ground immediately. He has the luxury of having abundant space to just keep it tucked away
Oh my god!
for a rainy day.
You see that stack deck? Oh, you just hit triple Rasa. That's gotta feel so bad. That means he cannot find another Rasa for the rest of the game.
I
Oh
that
no.
is that is not what I want to see.
Not at all, because what he was hoping to do here probably was go for a big turn and put a bunch of bodies on the board, because you want to essentially set it up so that your opponent can't just be looping the Mind Splitter, that they actually do have to deal with the board. But, I mean, you just kind of guaranteed you can't do that when you saw the triple Ross off the stack deck.
Yeah, I'm putting it all on the bottom once
Yeah.
again. And this Sivir doesn't really churn through her deck as swiftly as an Ezreal does. So before you've looped, it's gonna take a little while.
Yeah.
Well, it does have an Ezreal, so can dig a little deeper. Has some time to do it in. However, you wanted to be keeping pace. You wanted to just secure yourself that top cut and move on to the next round. It will have to be delayed at least a little longer, maybe even by another game.
Yeah, I would not be super surprised to have to go to a game 3 here. Because it becomes pretty simple with what we see on the board, right? You just push up Mind Splitter, clear one. You can push up the Pickpocket to the other, clear one. The only thing you do need to be careful about on one rune is the Punch First. So maybe you don't even do that. It might just be safer to go, okay, pick up Mind Splitter, play Mind Splitter, check for that Punch First, and then push up. Because you could get punished by this. I don't know if there are like hard bargains in the Ezreal deck, but that would be pretty good here.
I mean, I feel like there has to be hard bargains, right? Especially, might have sideboarded it out though.
This is like,
that's a big investment coming through.
I'm surprised you don't punch first. That he has a punch first, right?
I can't confirm that. I haven't seen it myself. Can we get a peek onto? Yeah, no, definitely has the punch first.
I thought he would go for a punch first there, specifically because it kills the Mind Splitter, and then you just, I guess he can just, like, if he does have the shift, you can just play the Mind Splitter back to base, right? So that's not really true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, saving the energy for the Unyielding Spirit here might be keeping them in it a little better.
Well, he can also just bounce and play the Mind Splitter one more time this turn if he does choose to. Because you can go, there's 7 runes. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 runes up. So this should be, well, I think you do have to rip the Fizz here, though. It's like the only play in the hand that matters.
Yeah, and the only play that kind of breaks off into even more threatening plays into the future, right?
Yeah.
With the other cards, you're very sure what they're going to do, what they're going to get.
Yep.
And just limiting the options, like we've kept underlining throughout this match, limit your opponent's options, especially if they rely on them so heavily.
Right, so playing out the Fizz and see what he is going for here. It's like Bellows.
That is the writing on the wall then, because that is not coming out without a reason.
Well, did he remember that he used Spirit? Did he forget that there's a Spirit? Or maybe he's just trying to get the Ezreal draw.
It is tricky. That card.
Wait, did Sivir just win this?
No.
I think Sivir just won.
Oh, he's recounting. He's retracing his steps, but you can see him panicking. You can see.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
There's no way.
Well, that definitely answers the question. Oh, you can see his frustration. 2 days of snatched away, and now he's scrambling. Anything to sway this match back into his favor. Anything to keep him in the game.
There's no way he forgot. Oh my gosh, that's just game.
And that is the toll a weekend like this takes on you. It is hard to keep track of all these events happening, all these cards triggering, and man, that might be it. Oh, now going through it one more time, but that has to be the curtain call, right?
Oh my gosh, and he scoops it
there's
up.
A GG.
That is insane.
Man, you hate to see it go down like that.
That is such a crazy ending. Oh my gosh, I did not expect that at all.
What his opponent is running.
It's like a Viktor. Is a more unit-focused Viktor, though I will say plenty of removal.
More unit-focused is more than... Well, it's still only like 7 units.
Yeah. That does seem to be the funny thing with Viktors. How many units are they going to actually play? Is it going to be the full yellow package? Is it just going to be the high value? And in this instance, it looks like it's just like Manufacturer, Poro. Okay, wait. It looks like he's playing the pickpocket as well, and honest broker. So it's like it's a fair number of units. 3,
It's a fair
6,
number of units, and
7.
even though it might be lower than a regular deck would be seen pilot in, it's a little easier when you can outsource getting units to your legend itself.
Yeah, I think he's playing a what 3, 3, 6, 7. Oh, don't say it. 10. Well, yeah, plenty of
I'll take
units.
10. I'll take 10.
Looks like we do see Viktor going first here. Does play the honest broker. Good start to this one.
Yeah, and that is a fun battlefield to be fielding. The treasure hoard, where when you conquer, you get to pay for 1 to get yourself a gold token. Especially in these power heavy decks, cannot underestimate how valuable that can be. And we were talking about those early drops just a little bit ago, and Draven is definitely still in the market, even when it is Miracle Draven, where it can enjoy some proper digging.
I mean, Merchant, incredible card. We'll see you many cards throughout the match. It does trigger on move instead of conquer anything, so even to removal, you're getting value out of it. Let's see, pitch stuff from your hand that you can then replay with the Fizz later. Pretty powerful card. Pretty powerful card. One of the best 2-drops in the game, especially in the Miracle deck.
Yeah, and this is important because what we're seeing right here is Viktor almost denying free entry into Zaan's Warrens, limiting some of that digging potential unless more is invested into the merchant. So I'm very curious to see if they'll be taking a trade. Now they will be trading it on the other side, on the other battlefield.
Ooh.
And I think if you can maintain control here, that is almost a pseudo-wasted battlefield invested from the Draven.
Treasure Hoard here, gonna generate a gold. Love to see it. If you're a Miracle deck, free power is excellent. And choosing to just ramp it up, play up the Draven, has the gold token, and I think I see a seal in hand, so maybe able to convert the gold token to a more permanent piece of value next turn. Though I will say, we did see the Victor's List does play those pickpockets, and they were pretty high impact in the last game, even though Ezreal did end up losing. Maybe a little bit too slow, but against these Miracle decks, removing the gears, removing the treasure tokens, removing the seals is pretty high value.
Yeah, especially when you are fielding the Draven, and it sometimes does feel like you're going a bit of scorched earth, right? Putting absolute mayhem onto your own runes reserve, only to kind of inch over the finish line. However, if you still have to camp overnight on those barren, scorched, azured lands, that is not a very comfortable night, I will tell you.
So generating a gold token here with the Treasure Hoard to see if what Viktor decides to do, just if it's developing more base. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just build up this giant army in the base, as again we saw playing plenty of... Oh, and there we go. There's the pickpocket value again. But yeah, playing plenty of units. Because one of the things with the Miracle deck is it's pretty good at dealing with single units. It's pretty good at making a push. I don't think it's going to be very good at holding against a Royal Decree plus 30 tokens.
Yeah, no, I mean, you get in that headspace where you just have expendable tokens that are definitely, all right, bearing the brunt of those combat tricks. And even if a single one gets through, that is one of your units going down. And every card they have to invest to stave off the fury of a single token is just not a cost-efficient trade in the long run. However, there is the seal. Has to pay the rune for it the old-fashioned way, but will get it stuck onto the board, and Ezreal will dig even deeper.
I think there was even a scrap heap in hand, so yeah, there we go. Another draw 3. Pretty good.
More seals coming through, more digging potential. Meanwhile, that pile, the discard pile, is growing ever larger, more ominous, threatening those rushes later into the game. Can they withstand that on Viktor's end, who is just sitting and enjoying the show currently?
Mm-hmm. So it does hit a Nocturne there. Love to see it. And then, ooh, Piercing Light. Okay, so the Piercing Light could potentially be pretty good into this Viktor deck. We'll hopefully take out 4 units. We'll have to see once the on the next turn, see if the Viktor does opt to try and go up to odd points or just sticks on even.
Yeah, and that is a interesting card to have, because that is in the main deck. We are in
Yes.
game 1. That is a main deck Piercing Light. Wonder how many more are there to follow up on it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of main deck Piercing Light and Miracle Draven. I think it's really powerful with the Ezreal. It lets you pay. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Ezreal makes repeat costs less, and 4 power or 4 might. My apologies. 4 might is an important breakpoint right now with all the Draven decks. Draven is 4 might and Kai'Sa is 4 might and the hopefuls are 4 might. There are a lot of units that are 4 might, and there are a lot of units that are 2 might that matter too, like with the fans and the all of these little 2-drops. So you can end up getting a couple really big Piercing Lights and clearing quite a few units. And we did see that in the last Runes and Rift tournament with the Prismat's Miracle Draven, a couple turns of double Piercing Light, essentially doing full board clears.
Yeah, and that is the control you can have with cards like that can be fielded like true scalpels, only taking care of the cards that truly matter, leaving the chaff that you are not too bothered about. It can really clear out the way to victory. However, look what is going on the side of Viktor here. Ghost Driver, he's gearing up for the long con.
So I don't think he repeated that. Or what? Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just the Bella's Watcher. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and that's gonna wreak havoc.
Yep. Should clear the entire backline, right? Yep.
Yeah, but you see why he didn't repeat it. Tapping out completely.
Yep. It makes a lot of sense. There is a Spinning Axe in the hand of Draven. So he gets to choose here. What do I want to save? Probably the Ezreal, right?
I mean, it kind of depends on what's left in hand still. With the merchant, you get to dig a little deeper, but Ezreal is, I mean, the most expensive card there, right?
Yeah. Ezreal is going to keep giving value over the next few turns, and we know he did pick up the Piercing Light off of, I believe it was the Stack Deck or the Called Shot. I forget which one it was, but did pick that up. So we do know he probably wants to hold on to this Ezreal to get value out of that there. Does also opt to push in here to go on to try and go on to even points. That being said, this doesn't quite work. If he does push up with these 2 units, Draven ability will be able to trigger go up to 3 might, and that would trade with the 3 might that's getting pushed up. So it does have to actually push up the Pickpocket here plus the token if he wants to guarantee this.
Yeah, but still that might be worth the investment. Oh, I don't think he sees it.
Yeah. Maybe he's just fine with that, saying like, it's fine, we'll trade, and then you lose another rune. I'm valuing my runes over anything else. Does trigger the Honest Broker there, and now can just push up the Pickpocket. Yep. I mean, if he chooses to do so. This is on even points, generally. I find Viktor is more of an odd point. Or, sorry, is more of a... This is on odd points. I find Viktor is more of an even point legend, but does choose to move up to that odd points.
In general, I feel like the power of evens is just almost unmatched. I mean, so little matches are decided by holding, in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And holding really gives your opponent a reason to stop you. Meanwhile, being on evens gives you all the agency, gives you all of the tricks up your sleeve, and this game favors the attacker.
So free called shot coming down. There's Rasa number 1.
First, Rasa, we're digging even deeper, looking to strike more gold. Can we hit a bountiful vein?
He's
As
pushing up.
I mean, pushing up just to kind of keep up with the Viktor here. He's gonna have to bring a little more, but it's difficult when your economy is so strained with just the 4 runes available to you. Yeah, you have some seals and treasures to work with. It will be stopping the wages of pain with a hard bargain.
Kind of interesting for me, I guess. It just feels so rough when you have so few runes to work with, and now your Ezreal is kind of guaranteed to get outed on the next turn unless we do commit like a rebuke or something. I don't see any fight or flights or any way to save it in the hand. Maybe that is fine. I can't
That's the
imagine we're
case.
going for our big miracle push this turn though.
No, just simply doesn't have the resources for it. But time is starting to become an issue. You no longer have that wiggle room to be digging deeper and not hitting pay dirt every single time. And it is Viktor putting up the pressure a little bit. It shows that it can be done even without the sabotages, even without the mind splitters.
So it does pass it back over, 2 runes up. Maybe is opting to go for the rebuke on the Watcher, though that would feel really bad. You could also just rebuke your Ezreal if you did want to save it, but either way, that would be pretty neg with the axe on it. So kind of curious what the game plan is. Maybe there is a fight or flight or something in the hand that I did not catch.
Well, currently with just a single body out there, it is very valuable to just to keep yourself in the running currently, as we see some more shots being fired on the last living unit of this Draven pilot.
Whew, that's a rough one. Riptide Rex coming down. Unfortunately, not able to play any actions in response to the 6 damage. And wow, okay, Watcher getting rebuked. That is a rough one to rebuke, as
Yeah,
it can just be
that's
played again next
desperation.
turn.
That is true desperation, knowing that he can't answer both battlefields, only has powder for one, and that is, you can see it on his face as well, as sour that it gets to have to rebuke it, but it really is your emergency break in this situation.
Passing it back over, a couple tokens in base. So
And it's just about getting bodies onto the field now and making sure you can make a stand against this Viktor. However, you're going to have to risk something. You're going to have to make a stand on a battlefield, because if you don't, you might be waltzed over knowing that they can accelerate that Watcher if they want to.
Yeah, to me, this has to be your big miracle push turn, but I don't know if he is set up enough to do this. I mean, it does have a Rasa.
And doesn't have the Ezreal anymore.
It does. I think the Bushwhack is in hand as well.
Oh, gets a switcheroo. That might be very valuable in the turns to come.
Yeah, one of the better cards to hide here after you do make the push onto the battlefield.
But
I mean, it's rough. All you have is one Rasa for a push here. It's like one Rasa, and then I don't even think he has the energy available for Fizz plus Bushwhack.
You can tell that he's standing on his last legs, digging for answers, just looking for a way out, a way into safety.
Oh, he does. Never mind. He does have enough for it.
Will commit to it, but you're kind of playing face up at this point. You know, when you don't have those runes available to you to truly make use of all those cards in hand. You're playing linear, one-dimensional, and it is predictable.
There comes down the Rasa. So will he choose to commit the Fizz as well this turn? I would be surprised if he didn't. I don't feel like one Rasa and a hidden switcheroo is enough, but...
Mulling over his
wow.
turn every little bit. And um, you have to dig in a way, but it is not furthering the game plan that he wants to be furthering right now, especially when he's playing the Ezreal not onto a battlefield.
Wow, that's crazy to me. This just... I feel like I would have dropped that. No, you can't. So you can't even put the Ezreal up on the battlefield because then you just lose to hold on the Zon Warrens. So yeah, this is pretty rough situation here. I'll see
Doomed
if
if
he
you
does.
do, doomed if
Yeah.
you don't. And that is the name of the game currently. And there's just such a mountain of resources facing you on the other side of the battlefield. The gap has been made. This Watcher we've seen before re entering the battlefield. It looks like it's going to be accelerated, looking to bring the pain to Draven and looking to bring victory to Viktor himself in game number 1. Can he get it done?
So we'll have to see what he pushes up on, or if there are any spells to make this easy. Oh wow, if he does go this route, I mean, plays pretty hard into the switcheroo. Maybe there is like a hidden blade or something, but I feel like if there is, you just drop it right at the stop and you don't try and go for this. Because this is like, okay, wow, there was a hidden blade. I feel like that was a lot simpler if you just hidden blade the unit and then push up, but by all means.
Nah, you could tell Ghoster Driver was not only attacking that battlefield, he was also attacking the mental of the Draven. I mean, needling away in such a way. Like, maybe it is the way you said it. It's like, oh, it would have been simpler. But sometimes it's being like, oh, it feels like slow rolling someone, right? Where you have the insurance policy for yourself. But in such a way, you also kind of force the Draven to commit, right? You have 100%. You have 100% of the information before you fully commit to your combat tricks. Now, let's take a look at the sideboards in a little bit and see what we need to amend. Because this Raven couldn't get off the floor, didn't get sabotaged once. Where did we go off track? Where did the Draven Miracle Plan get derailed?
We'll have to see. I think these yellow decks can be pretty annoying. It looks like there's a Thundersong, Rebuke, Against the Odds, a couple Forerunners. Forerunner would be a good one here. Factory Recall and a Hard Bargain. So personally, I think I would like to see a Forerunner. Could potentially see a Hard Bargain as well. I don't know how much... I don't know what his read on his opponent's Viktor deck is, because he did see a fair number of units, so maybe might not be making a read that it is like a spell heavy list, as we know it isn't. It's more of a normal Viktor list. Well, I say normal. I say normal when there are like 3 different versions of the deck, but I think it still would be pretty decent. Maybe like the I do like the Forerunners a lot though.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, your back is against the wall as Draven here. As you are looking to make that top cut, you have to win already 10 on 2. This Viktor has a little bit more leeway. 10 on 1 on 1. Not comfortable. If he wins, he is in easily. No worries whatsoever. And after 2 heavy days, we saw what it can take out of someone. Can they keep a cool head as they are headed into game number 2?
Tiny bit of spoilers, but my friend did make top 8, so very exciting there. He got 7th place, so shout outs to Marcus. We'll be seeing him in the top cut.
One more through the breach, and as the seats in top 8 are filling up, these two are still battling it out for a potentially final ticket. And this is a risky line of play, and every time we see it, it usually backfires on the Draven, committing to the turn 1 Draven in a big way. Can swing, can backfire.
If there's a call of the week, I mean, it's pretty rough here, right? You just shove up your dude, drop the call of the week, and bye-bye Draven.
we're going to have to sweat a little bit longer. But it reeks of desperation. And it reeks of no other solid turn one plays. We see this play made by Dravens that are up a game, where you can afford to risk it more, right? Either win big, make it 2-0, or get to game 3 rather quickly. To do it when you're a game down is daring, to put it politically.
I see a oh my, that is a nice hand. I see a Call of the Week, a Singularity, a Watcher. That is a I beat Draven hand.
Oi, oi, oi. Yeah, that is definitely spelling out DOOM for this Draven.
Oh my
Will be going to the
gosh.
line one more time. Can't afford to slip up at the final hurdle.
Yeah, Watcher, Bellows, Call of the Week, Singularity. This hand is just. This hand is so
Has it
good
all.
versus Draven.
It has it all. And after that very first game, where the Draven got off to a moderate start, I would say, right? Among the lines of expectations. Having a rough one, a devastating start even, is the last thing you can use when you are already a game down. No more room for mistakes. Only hits right now for Draven can get him out of this position. And the double seal, another big developmental investment. But it may leave the gate open for Viktor to get through.
So it does play double seal Ezreal. Plenty of cards in hand, plenty of resources available now. Looks like considering if he wants to play the called shot, and it does. I don't see any units in the hand. I could be missing one, but not.
He's going through it
plays
swiftly,
here.
knowing that if he wants to finish that game 3, he has to get through it rather swiftly. But is gathering himself the pieces one by one. But can he get it in time with an economy to back it up?
Yeah, I'm surprised that I kind of got lost in the moment, but I'm surprised that the Viktor killed the token that was in the base, not the one on the battlefield, because you could get another Conquer here onto the Candlelit and look a little bit further into your deck. It's like opted to instead go and hold there and then go for a retreat on this turn. Maybe the idea is that the Draven isn't going to be pushing up on a battlefield this turn, and that means that you're pretty cleanly able to get a hold, and then you can just retreat off the battlefield this turn, and then you leave nothing up for Draven to get a draw when they are actually able to push a battlefield. So I'm maybe looking a few turns ahead there.
Yeah, but that is the exact line of play that you have to be considering if you are looking to make it into top 8, and even more so when you're trying to advance through top 4 or even become a champion. So you have to bring your A game. You have all these small margins. The tiniest edge can make the difference when you are facing off against the absolute top of what Europe and I'll be real, some Americans have to offer.
So Draven pushing up with Ezreal here. Oof. I just don't want to put either of these cards down to the bottom of my deck. Yep, so it does keep them. Rasa stack deck. Hopefully he is able to see more than one Rasa this game. Only seeing one Rasa last game was pretty rough. Definitely not what you want to see, as you do need to see... oh, okay, maybe. Oh, wow, okay, it does put the Rasa to the bottom. Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse, right? You could be seeing all 3 of your Rasas in a single.
Yeah.
All right, another merchant to develop this Draven just a little bit further. Now, I will say, putting your Ezreal out there like that, it feels a little exposed, especially a piece so valuable in the composition of a Miracle Draven deck.
Yeah, it's a sign of weakness. If I'm the Azir player, I'm going, okay, perfect. My opponent is playing weak. This is perfect time for me to strike, put him on few resources. Have to see what he does this turn, but I would like to see the Ezreal removed here. It looks like does shove up the pickpocket into the Ezreal, forcing out the spinning axe.
Keeping the card hidden ever
Still there.
Yeah, spelling
Did
out
you see what he
more
hit?
doom. Pardon?
Did he see what he hit?
I can't recall, but I don't think
Okay.
it was a switcheroo. I think I would
Okay.
remember that.
Maybe like a fight or flight. Haven't seen any
that-
tide turners or anything, so I doubt
I
it
think
is
fight
a
or flight
tide
would
turner.
make a lot of sense here, right? Because that's why you would not immediately commit that. Hold on to it. If you can get rid of the pickpocket in another way, that would definitely be preferable. And that looks like what will be happening. And the traps laid before will remain a turn still. And an extra draw for the Draven will give him a bit of relief. However, Singularity invested. And even the spinning axis can't get him out of that unless there's more up his sleeve.
Yeah, you can't even hard bargain this as there's still 2 runes up. It feels pretty bad. That's a very good trade.
Once again. Yeah, you could just... I can almost taste the frustration at this point, where it feels like you're just always walking into answer and after answer after answer. And it looks like this Viktor will be having the last word as he clears out the entire battlefield. Was a fight or flight hiding. Can't get it done.
Yeah, that was a very good trade. Traded for the entire board and a spinning axe from the hand and the hidden. So, wow, that's pretty brutal if you are Draven here.
Yeah, and once again, you have to rebuild, but you don't really have that much energy at your disposal. It was quite a heavy investment to get to the point where, and you're not losing only your Ezreal, you already lost your Draven, so many key pieces that are lying in the dirt. And what did it buy you? A single point. Meanwhile, Viktor is living the high life, having it easy almost, as he is living large.
Yeah, it's really not. I really am struggling to see how the Viktor or the Draven gets back into this. That being said, it is Miracle Draven. It is possible. You can have these big push turns, though a Rasa was bottom decked. So there only are potentially 2, though there are Nocturnes in the deck, right? So you could see multiple Nocturnes off of these called shots, off of these stack decks. None seen so far. I don't think he's discarded any either. So still plenty of ammo left in the deck. And speak of the devil, was that a Nocturne off the top?
Miracles don't happen in a single day. They usually take 2, sometimes even 3 days of brewing before you can resurrect someone back from the dead, right?
Yeah. So we did see he did side in the second hard bargain as he just drew a second one off of the Ezreal.
Cold shot to gain even more information, but the paths that are leading to victory are narrowing. The grip that Viktor has over this game is tightening. And when you're facing off against the scientist himself, the prophet of the arcane, and look how little is committed right now to these battlefields. Even if you do manage to clap back, to gain control of both of these battlefields, not a lot is lost on this side of our Viktor player.
So we see a Forerunner as well. So Forerunner sided in. Not too surprising.
From what we've seen, a good choice, but not the saving grace that they are currently looking for. And well, this might be another Draven hitting the dust if they are not careful. But there's still a long ways to go, all the way up to 8, as the battering ram will be trying to bash his way into the battlefield.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think... Were there any Rasas in the hand? I don't think I saw any.
I think we saw earlier, no? That there was a... No, he bottomed it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like it. No, not a single Rasa in hand.
Yeah, it looks like
from as I can tell.
Probably going for a called shot here. to try and see that battering ram. Nope, just passing it. Okay. Decided that was enough. I mean, it was a lot of cards played, but still did not commit any. The Fizz, the Bushwhack is in the discard, so you do still have the Fizz Bushwhack push available to you. So not out of gas, still plenty of options for the next turn. Do have to deal with Viktor potentially clearing the board here, though. Kind of spooky.
Especially if Viktor can get onto that 6th victory point, you are in dire straits. You're completely tapped out on top of that. So the amount of options that are available to you, very, very limited. And look at the runes readied in the hands of our Viktor player. It is a gap that feels very hard to tighten. But if a deck can do it, it's definitely those pesky miracle decks that can make something out of even nothing.
Here comes the Watcher. Choosing to accelerate it, only leaving one up. Right. Battering ram goes down. Does have enough for a Bellows if does want to kill the Ezreal here too.
And the power in these types of plays is knowing that even though you're investing quite an expensive card like the Watcher, you know it's relatively safe going into a battlefield when your opponent is tapped out, has nothing hidden. And this Viktor can skate on by, keeping cards ready, only investing a single card for a turn, is almost the equivalent of drawing multiple cards as well, right? If your opponent keeps playing 2, 3, 4 cards in a single turn, and you only play one and you get the same effect, at the long run, you are up cards.
Mm-hmm.
So by having these turns be very profitable with minimal investment, you are playing that long con so well, even tapping out fully for an extra body, knowing that even if that Watcher does get managed to be pushed off that battlefield, he is in tip-top condition to take care of whatever pushed it off. And knowing a Watcher, it's most likely going to take something with it.
Yeah, what's particularly hard here is you have to play around the Decree Bellows, and I don't know if it's possible. I think the only way it's possible is if you hold a bargain for what? So Viktor's going up to 4, 6, 7. Viktor's going up to 9. So the only way it's possible to play around the Decree Bellow is if you save the runes for a repeated bargain, and you go bargain for 4, and then say, okay, if you want to decree this, then I am going to you can't cast the Bellows. But that being said, I mean, you have to deal with the board too, right? Like that Watcher is still sitting there, gonna go up to 7, and if you don't deal with the Watcher, then you just straight up lose to decree, push up token, kill Ezreal, push up token, conquer.
It is truly a obstacle of monumental size to be overcome in this turn. And the 2 Nocturnes, is that an attack declared? Or is that just the battlefield moving, the base moving up a little bit? I think it's just the base moving up. Yeah, as more gets played. And man, a Bushwhack at this moment would have been very, very pleasant. As a battering ram reinforces the current situation.
So yep, reinforcing. Unfortunately, this still does lose to just play decree.
Yeah. But there's still a lot of cards on hand. I'm trying to make out if there's a way out of interaction. But, I mean, when you are facing off a stronger economy, even the hard bargain is not going to bail you out.
Yep, so I imagine this will just be play decree.
Might be the final turn of this match. Going through the motions once more, the decree is cast, and all shall answer if it is not amended right now. It looks like it's going to be resolving, and that is the match as this Viktor is marching up to their final battlefield, their 8th victory point, and coincidentally a top in top 8. You can look at all the cards all you want, but there seems to be no way out. And just look how they manage their runes as well. Even a double hard bargain could still be paid off with the 4 energy left, leaving nothing up to chance.
Now here comes the bellows, and so you can counter this with the hard bargain now, but that last rune has to the last rune has to be what's like a 1 rune answer to a token.
I don't think there's too many.
Is there one?
In those colors.
Okay,
and there is the GG called. It will be a Viktor getting mixed up into the top 8 at Bologna. And it looks like we're going to see an actual collage of different legends looking to make their mark on Bologna, Italy.